The room that was always locked. Vikram was 42 years old when he realized that loneliness does not arrive suddenly. It grows slowly, like dust in a closed room. He lived alone in an old apartment building near the railway line. Trains passed every night, shaking the windows, but Vikram had stopped noticing the sound years ago. He worked as a night supervisor at a warehouse. The job paid enough, but it came with long hours and quiet nights. During the day, he slept. During the night, he watched boxes and shadows. People at work respected him, but no one knew him well. Once, long ago, Vikram had planned a future with someone. That future ended without a fight, without a goodbye, and without any explanation. After that, he stopped asking people to stay. In the same building lived Asha. She was 40. She had moved into the apartment directly opposite Vikram's flat 3 months ago. Everyone knew very little about her. She paid rent on time, spoke politely, and kept to herself. Her door was always locked. Vikram noticed small details because his life was full of empty time. He noticed that Asha left the building only at night. He noticed that she never used the elevator. He noticed that she sometimes stood near her door for a long time before unlocking it, as if listening for something. They had never spoken. One night, during a power cut, Vikram heard footsteps outside his door. Slow, careful. He opened his door slightly and saw Asha standing in the corridor, holding a candle. Her face looked tired, and her eyes looked afraid. "The emergency lights are not working," she said softly. "Do you know when the power will come back?" Vikram shook his head. "Usually an hour." She nodded and turned to leave. "Wait," he said suddenly. "You can sit here if you want. The corridor feels dark." Asha hesitated. Then she sat on the stairs, keeping a distance between them. That was how they spoke for the first time. They talked about small things. The building, the weather, the city changing too fast. She did not share much. Neither did he, but silence between them felt less heavy than usual. After that night, they started greeting each other. Sometimes they talked near the stairs. Sometimes near the water tap. Always briefly, always carefully. Vikram noticed something strange. Asha never talked about her past. She never talked about family. She never talked about work. And sometimes, late at night, Vikram heard sounds from her flat. Not voices, not music, just movement, like furniture being shifted, like something heavy being dragged. One night, he heard a soft knock on his door. It was Asha. Her hands were shaking. "Can I sit here for a few minutes?" she asked. "I don't feel safe." Vikram stepped aside without asking questions. She sat on the floor, hugging her knees. Her eyes kept moving toward the corridor. "Is someone bothering you?" Vikram asked gently. No, she replied too quickly. I mean, not exactly. That answer stayed in Vikram's mind long after she left. The next day, Vikram noticed a police car outside the building. Two officers were talking to the watchman. They left after a few minutes. No one explained why they came. That night, Asha did not come out of her room. The night after that, Vikram found a note slipped under his door. If anyone asks about me, please say you don't know me well. There was no name, but he knew who wrote it. His chest felt tight. Questions started growing inside him, but he had no answers. A few days later, Vikram saw a man standing near the entrance of the building. The man was in his mid-40s, wearing a dark jacket, pretending to talk on the phone while watching the stairs. Vikram watched him from a distance. That night, Asha knocked on Vikram's door again. They are looking for me, she whispered. Who? Vikram asked. I don't know, she said. Or maybe I do, but I don't want to believe it. She told him only one thing, that she had changed cities many times in the last 10 years, always leaving suddenly, always at night. Why? Vikram asked. Because every time I think I am safe, someone reminds me that I am not, she replied. That night, Vikram could not sleep. The sounds from Asha's room returned. Louder this time. Like boxes opening. Like metal touching metal. The next morning, Vikram noticed her door was slightly open. He stood there for a long moment before pushing it gently. The room was almost empty. No bed. No cupboard. No personal photos. Only one locked inner room. Footsteps echoed behind him. What are you doing here? Asha's voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp. I was worried, Vikram said honestly. She studied his face for a long moment. Then she unlocked the inner door. Inside were files, old newspapers, identity cards with different names, and one photo. The photo showed Asha with a man. Vikram recognized the man. He was the same man standing near the building a few days ago. He was my husband, Asha said. And he still believes he owns me. She explained everything. Years ago, she had helped expose illegal activities in his company. He had lost power, money, and respect. Since then, he had been following her life silently, making sure she never felt settled. Why don't you go to the police? Vikram asked. I did, she replied. Many times. He always finds a way out. That evening, the man returned. This time, he came upstairs. Vikram stood in front of Asha's door. Move, the man said calmly. No, Vikram replied. The silence between them felt dangerous. The next few minutes changed everything. Police sirens, shouting, footsteps running. The man was taken away. Weeks later, Asha moved out again. But this time, She told Vikram beforehand. I don't want to disappear without saying something, she said. She handed him a piece of paper, an address, and a line. Some locked rooms are not meant to hide secrets. They are meant to protect hearts. Months later, Vikram stood outside a small house in another city. He knocked. Asha opened the door. This time, it was not locked. She smiled, not with fear, but with relief. They did not talk about promises. They talked about now. And for the first time in years, Vikram slept without listening for footsteps in the dark.